Hello and welcome back. So we continue configuring our AI-powered chatbot. Now we have already created it. Now we have already integrated and connected our AI chatbot to the OpenAI services. In this section of the playbook, we are going to learn how to configure the behavior of our chatbot. So once you arrive here, once you have connected initially your AI chatbot to the OpenAI services, you will see that we have a number of configuration parameters. The first thing what SendPulse platform allows us to do is to choose one of the models that are provided by the OpenAI platforms. There are many models available there. Every model is working better for some particular scenarios. For example, such models as GPT 3.4 are probably the most cost efficient and fastest models. The models such as GPT-4 and GPT-4 Turbo are more advanced models from the perspective of their capabilities of keeping the more complicated conversations, solving various complex tasks, and so on. For our chatbots, I would really recommend using the GPT-4o mini model. So this is one of the newest models developed by the OpenAI. It is really fast, it is really cost efficient, and it is really capable of solving a majority of the tasks that are connected to the customer support or sales. So it's probably not going to be so good at some complicated math or chemistry assignments, but it will work absolutely nicely for the AI chatbot, which we are going to connect to our website. And at the same time, it will keep our costs low and will allow us to ensure that we are running our customer support or sales in an efficient way. So to choose this model, you go here and you choose from the list of various models the GPT-4o mini model. Now, the next thing, what we need to provide is a prompt or instructions, what we are going to give to our chatbots to teach it how it needs to behave, what exactly it needs to do, and how exactly this should be done. So basically, this is the place where you put all the knowledge that your chatbot needs to know to serve your customers well. This is exactly the place where you make your chatbot customized and personalized. And basically, this prompt can be almost as long as you want. Basically, at the moment, the GPT-4o mini model is able to take a lot of input, but we need to learn how to make this prompt efficient so you provide all this necessary information, all those necessary instructions, and at the same time, you ensure that your prompt is going to be well structured, that it is going to be consistent, and it is going to be enough to serve your customers well. Now, to do the prompt, let me first provide you some guidance on how we in general need to design our prompts to make our requests, our questions very clear to the language learning model, whatever model we are working with. So on this slide, you can see the perfect prompt structure. All the elements that you need to have in your prompt to make your question or your assignment or your task very clear to the model what you are training. So as you can see, there are 5 important elements, and all those elements are ordered according to their importance. So the elements at the beginning of the list are most important ones. And basically, your prompt is a text that should consist of the following elements. First of all, it's a task. So the task is the most important element of the prompt, and the task is describing what you want the model to do. So what exactly do you expect? Are you expected to serve the customer? Do you expect it to provide information? Do you expect it to guide on pricing? Do you expect it to solve some math tasks and so on? So this is the task what you're giving to your model. Secondly, there is a context. So context is all the additional information, what is necessary to perform the task well. Imagine that the model, what you're training, is a child. This child knows nothing about your business, about your company, about your products and services, about what your customers want, what exactly questions do they have, and so on. So the context is the place where you are trying to provide as much helpful information as possible to understand all this context where your company is working in. The next element of the prompt is example or examples. Here you can provide the specific instructions on how you want the output to look like. What is the ideal outcome that the model should give based on your task? You can provide here some specific examples of emails or specific examples of conversations that you're having with your customers to ensure that model is going to behave similarly, maybe even copy the style what you're using, copy the way how you're interacting with your users, and so on. The next element of the prompt is a persona element. So persona element helps the model to understand how to identify itself. So basically, this is the behavioral component what you can use to explain the model that it needs to interact as the customer service agent or as a sales agent or as an expert in a particular field or with the particular services and so on. The persona element again is giving more context and is helping the model to understand how you want it to behave and maybe even copy a behavioral style from somebody else. Finally, the format element of the prompt is helping the model to understand in which format you want the answer to be provided. So here you can put some instructions and explain the model that you want to get some bullet points, or you want your output to be in the form of a table, or just a plain text, and so on. So now when you know about the perfect prompt structure and all the elements, what we need to have there, let's take a look at a couple of examples, what I have built for my own companies, my own businesses, and which you can use as a template and adjust them for your own company, for your products, for your services, and so on. In the materials attached to this video, you're going to find some example prompts, and let me just quickly go through them and explain you what is happening here and why this prompt is built exactly in a way as is built. So here is the example number one. This prompt is built for the software development company, what I'm running. And as you can see here, we immediately establish the persona of this particular AI chatbot. So we tell that you're going to be an expert consultant for Bonsai Technologies, which is specializing in assisting HR managers, CTOs with hiring software engineers. And then the task is your role is to guide potential customers through Bonsai services and processes addressing their specific needs and concerns. Then we start providing some context information about our services, about our products, and explaining how exactly the model should behave. So as you can see here, when responding, ensure you cover the following key aspects in a professional, approachable, and concise tone. And then a list of points describing the essence of our services, describing the essence of our offerings, describing some key details. So here you can see some key details about our services. Then you can see how exactly it is going to guide customers forward. If they're interested in our services, if they want to know more, here you can see the information what I provided on how to get started. And finally, here are some additional rules about formatting the answer. So I want answers to be less than 90 words long. I want the GPT not to use any formatting and not to use any texts. So just to provide plain answers, as this is a widget on our website and we don't want to have there some tables or have some complicated formatting. Finally, I want our chatbot not to be very creative, and in case it is not able to provide some answers or is not having some information, then to ask customer to contact our representative or just leave their email and tell that our customer support team will contact them as soon as possible. So here you can see an example prompt created for my software development agency, which is quite successfully navigating our customers through the essence of our service, through the main conditions, and then guiding them forward to the next steps in the sales process. Another example, what I'm having here is the example that I have created for my online learning academy. So in this example, we are positioning our chatbot as a knowledgeable and friendly assistant, which is going to help visitors learn about reskilling programs, answer their questions, and then guide them to register. We describe some general behavioral rules regarding the tone, regarding the concise and clear responses, and then we are going to give here key behavioral guidelines. So what exactly this chatbot needs to do? What is the main task? And as you can see here is a list of specific things what we want chatbot to do. For example, clearly explain the structure of the programs, emphasize that no prior IT experience is necessary, use positive reinforcement to motivate visitors, mention the registration process is straightforward, and so on. As many of our customers are asking a lot of typical questions, and we have quite well developed frequently asked questions section on our website. I am also giving all this information to the AI chatbot, so it will be able to guide the customers through the typical questions, maybe more effectively and in a more personalized way. So what do I have here is just a list of common questions and responses, which I copied from our frequently asked questions page. So here you can see that I have a question, for example, what do Cerebrum Hub programs look like? And then I have an answer from my frequently asked questions page. Then questions like, when does a program start? Do I need previous IT experience? What are the costs of the program? And here I have all the information about all the packages together with the prices and so on. So basically, you can put here all your typically asked questions. You can provide here information about your products, about your pricing, about your services, as much as you feel is required for the chatbot to understand, to be able to guide your customers effectively through the process. So finally, some additional rules like keep your answers less than 90 words, do not use formatting, do not send links, always send instructions, will help chatbot to understand how exactly I'm expecting it to answer the questions what customers will be asking. So I hope that those two examples will help you to understand how you can structure your own prompt, how you can provide the information to the AI chatbot and train it to guide your customers in an effective and accurate way. I would also suggest that you keep your prompts clear and concise. So please do not copy paste the full product database with all the prices and all the details on the products to the AI chatbot, as it may make your prompt too complicated, too complicated and too huge, and it may result that the answers what chatbot will be providing will be not so effective. So I would really recommend focusing on the most important aspects, most important questions, most important information, and when more details is necessary, then to teach an AI chatbot to guide the customer to the proper place. So, for example, to just provide an instructions on how to navigate to the certain product page, to the certain details page, read there, or maybe even contact the support team to get more details and so on. Now here you can find a pro tip which may help you to make your prompt a little bit easier. You can use ChatGPT to help you with generation of an effective prompts. How do you do that? In the instruction connected to this video, you'll find an example prompt which I prepared for you, which is looking like that. Generate me an effective prompt for custom GPT which will be consulting our potential customers about the services, products of our company, answering their common questions, and guiding them toward the next steps in the sale process. Here is the information what you need, and then you copy paste all the information what you want the chatbot to know about. So you can put information from your website, descriptions of your services, your frequently asked questions, your pricing, various files. You give all this contextual information to the ChatGPT, and then you run this prompt, and ChatGPT will return you the optimized prompt, which you can later use as a basis. So it will prepare for you the prompt, which you can take and then maybe start to just optimize, maybe adding some things to it, removing some things, changing some behavior, and so on. So once our prompt is ready, once we have prepared it, we need to provide it to our bot. So how do we do that? We just take our prompt and we just copy paste this prompt to the bot instructions field in the SendPulse platform. Once this is done, we need to take a look at a couple of additional parameters what we are having here. So as you can see, first of all, we have to configure the token usage. This is going to define how long will be the answer that your chatbot will be giving to your customers. As you understand, every token is going to cost us some cents. So every token costs. OpenAI API is going to be charged based on the amount of tokens what we are using, and we want to keep it effective. We want to keep it concise. So my suggestion here is that the maximum number of tokens what your chatbot should use is approximately 128 tokens, or approximately 86 words. So this amount of words is absolutely enough to provide answers on almost every situation, regarding almost every product. And this is also why I have this rule in my prompt to keep the answer less than 90 words to ensure that chatbot is not going to generate too huge, too long answers. So once this is defined, we also need to take a look at the temperature parameter. The temperature parameter is defining the creativity level for our chatbot. The higher the temperature, the more creative and abstract replies you're going to get from your chatbot, which is very useful if you're running some brainstorming tasks or you're generating some marketing campaigns. But for the chatbots, which are going to be connected to websites or social media platforms, I would recommend to have a really low temperature value, as we want to have precise, consistent, and concise answers to the questions. And if chatbot is not having the necessary information, then we want it not to be too creative and rather just to direct the customer to the customer support team. So the recommended value for this temperature field is approximately zero point 0.3, zero point 0.2. You can experiment a little bit to see which one works for you best. But I have identified that in my use cases, zero point 0.3 was working perfectly. Then the next thing, what we need to consider is the conversation context size, means how many messages the bot will be taking into consideration when it will be chatting with the customer. As you may imagine, the more messages we consider, the larger will be every interaction and the more tokens our chatbot is going to be using every time our customer is asking something or providing some additional information. So here you can see some recommended value, which is 5 previous messages. It means that your bot will be taking into consideration last 5 messages and consider that when generating an answer. I have found that this is quite optimal, so you can keep it you can keep it at the same place. Finally, you can limit the number of requests to artificial intelligence for every customer or subscriber. This is to prevent some customers to just spamming your AI chatbot and just wasting your money and your resources and your tokens. So at the moment, the default value is 100 times per day, but you can experiment. Maybe even lower value will be enough, for example, 50 times per day. It basically will mean that one customer will be able to only send around 50 messages per day and not more than that. So once you have all those configurations ready, you can press a save button, and basically now your chatbot is fully configured. It is ready. It is now empowered by the OpenAI language learning model, by all this context, all this information what you have provided, and now we can start testing it. Now we can start seeing how it is working, maybe optimizing and essentially connecting it to our website and to our social media platforms.